Hey guys, this week we have a mysterious game in space, we have a classic shooter, we have some pretty dumb Nintendo news, and then we have a really cool retro game from the Super Nintendo where Nintendo actually redeemed themselves.
Yes.
This is now loading. Hey guys, welcome to this week's Now Loading. I'm your host, as always, Alex Thompson, and I'm here with Johnathan Paul once again.
What's up?
Hey. So, we're going to get right into this episode with the key releases for the week of July 31st. So, I'm going to go first this week since you went first last week.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about the game called Tacoma.
Yes.
Okay. It comes out on August 2nd, and it's for the PC and Xbox One.
Right.
Now, I know this game was announced like in December of 2014.
Right, it was a long time
Yeah, it was
ago.
a long time ago.
Right. Game Awards, right?
It was, the Game Awards.
Yeah.
And it's finally coming out now. It was supposed to come out in 2016, but they delayed it.
Right.
And it makes you wonder, it's like, what's been going on? Why are you delaying it so
Right.
much? You know, why is this taking so long?
It
But
makes you a little apprehensive.
yeah, because it's like, I mean, whenever you get a movie or something like that and you
Right.
hear like, oh, this director dropped out, oh, this
Right.
dropped out and stuff.
Right.
I mean, we don't really get that with video games, behind the scenes kind of thing
Right.
too much.
Right.
So whenever you hear delays and stuff, you're like, there's some kind of problem.
You usually
you know?
get it only when there's bugs or major
Right.
issues, and they have to go back in and fix them. So, yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But this is a first-person game,
Right.
not a shooter. It's first-person. You're going around, you're discovering stuff. The whole premise is that you're in space and you're trying to discover a mystery that happened with basically a lost crew.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's cool about it is you get to see these little blobs and outlines of the shadows and stuff, and you get to
Right.
rewind, play forward, everything.
It's like the video logs of what happened.
Right, but
Yeah.
it's all like 3D, and I mean,
Right.
going through the game and stuff, like just even in the trailer and stuff, you see them like, you know, exploring the ship, and it looks really big.
Right.
Graphics look great though, and I know that's probably what sold you originally,
Yeah,
right?
the graphics for the ship look great, and I love the way that they're doing, the video logs, where you aren't seeing the characters fully rendered.
Right.
You know, it's almost kind of like point cloud figures.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool. So you're hearing the audio, right? And then you're seeing the figures kind of in a point cloud version. So to me, that's really cool. I don't think that's going to detract at all. I think they did a really good job, because every trailer I've seen for this, all of the gameplay I've seen for this, the graphics look really solid.
Right.
Which again just kind of makes me wonder, why the delay? Because it looks great today, just as it has, the other times that I've seen the game.
Yeah.
Whenever they've released trailers or gameplay or anything like that.
So starting from the very basic thing, I want to know why it's called Tacoma. Do you know why it's called Tacoma at
Actually,
all?
no, I
have
don't.
no idea why it's called Tacoma. And I mean, doing research for this, there's nothing that hinted at anything. Maybe it's the ship or something.
Possibly.
They said, I know we did see the note in the trailer that said the Tacoma Dome.
Oh, maybe that's it.
So I'm thinking
Okay.
it might be the name of the
That
ship.
might be it. If you know, drop it
let us
it
know.
in the comments.
But
yeah.
when I first heard it, I think of Washington State and Tacoma, the
Right,
town and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And I'm just
yeah,
like,
Tacoma, Washington.
yeah, but this game overall, like you said, it looks pretty dang cool, and it makes me wonder how long this game, because usually games like this, they last a long time. Like there's a
Right.
lot of hours you can put into the game and just discovering different things and trying to figure out the mystery and whatnot.
Right.
Now, something that's weird to me, because we kind of talked about this with games last week, is that it's going to be for the PC and Xbox. And to me personally, this looks like a game that's going to probably do better on the PC than on the console.
Right. Yeah, and I'm a little confused as to the control system.
Right.
Is it point and click like Myst, or is it exploratory? Just
Right.
like a classic first person. Which I'm assuming it is. It's it seems like it's going to be more like that, but most of the footage I've seen, you've got it almost seems like they're cutscenes.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're getting a lot of cutscenes. So that'll be interesting to see, how it controls and how it handles over time. So, I'm really interested in it. Honestly, after we saw some information about it, a long time ago,
Right.
It was like 2014, 2015. honestly forgot about the game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly forgot about the game because you thought, well, didn't that game already release? You know?
Right. And they didn't
You
really
sit there
do a
and
whole
think
lot of
about it.
promoting for it or
Right.
anything over the time and
Right.
stuff. That was the thing with me, like, because like you said, I think I remember seeing this back
Right.
then. And then, like, when I saw the release for this, whenever I was looking up games, researching
Right.
and stuff, it just
Exactly.
popped up, and I'm just like,
Wait a minute.
wait a minute.
I thought this was already out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you're doomed to delays, I guess. And
Right.
It's just like,
Right, for sure. I am interested. I'm totally going to play this one. I'll probably pick it up for the Xbox One, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely. The one thing that gets me, though, is, I mean, like I said, the game is mysterious, but there's a lot of mystery in the game. It's like, are there going to be things that are going to, like, challenge you and pop out?
Right.
Like, are you going to have, like, do it in a certain time, like say you run out of air, or
Right.
is like there
Right.
gonna be like things that attack you?
Right.
It doesn't really look like
Right.
that at all. But I'm like, where's the
Or
challenge?
are
You know
the
what I mean?
puzzles going to be like certain parts of the video logs that you're watching? Maybe because there's a couple of times when you're watching the trailers that you see some of the video logs kind of, you know, become jagged and
Mm-hmm.
like you're almost losing connection. So I'm wondering if you're going to miss pieces of the video log,
Right.
and you've got to solve. Okay, well, what did they say? What were they talking about? What was going on? And then you have to go in and figure those mysteries out.
Another thing that I'm kind of curious about with it too is this one of those games where you just go until you figure it out, or is there ways to game over, or
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
see?
going to be interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm totally going to sit down and play through it and see what happens for sure.
I guess it kind of has like that going for it then, you know? All these people
Yeah.
that see it and they're like, oh, this looks cool. You're going into it completely blind. I mean,
Right, right.
it's going to pull
See,
people in.
honestly, to me, I mean, with a lot of games I play, I don't really read. I know we do this show, and
Right.
I try not to read up a lot on, very detailed specifics about games because, I like to, when I get into a game, I like to be pleasantly surprised about what's happening and what's going
Right.
on, how it controls, because that way I can have a fresh perspective, like, okay, these controls were terrible. Let me talk to you about why these controls
Right.
are terrible. So no, I think this is a total game I'll get for the Xbox One, and I'll sit down and play through it, and hopefully the delays were worth it.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping.
Fingers crossed it isn't a bust.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, for sure.
So, what do you got for us?
Okay, so my game for this week is a game that actually released at the tail end of last week.
Ah, that's fine.
And but it's just such a big game that we have to talk about.
Right.
So I'm talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered Edition.
Woo.
So yes, so I love Call of Duty. I think we've kind of got a little bit long in the tooth with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But going back to Call of Duty 2 for the Xbox 360 was awesome.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare was one of the best Call of Duty games I've ever played. It's awesome. And so this one is coming out for the Xbox One this week, or tail end of last week. And the PlayStation 4 version came out on June 27th. So that one's already out as well. So if you want to get that one, you can totally get it.
There's a little bit of controversy with this game.
There is, yeah. So originally the remastered game was a part of Infinity Warfare. So you had to buy the Legacy Deluxe or Legacy Pro version to get the remastered version of Modern Warfare. And so that was kind of like a little controversy, back then. And then now, Activision is releasing the game as a standalone game for PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It will release on PC. I'm just uncertain of the date. I know that this last weekend it released on Xbox One, and the PS4 has been out for over a month. But yeah, so we've got extensive graphical enhancements, new lighting, new rendering, so updates there. They also updated the sound effects, and then just the cool thing is they kept the core gameplay. They kept the core gameplay. They kept the core game itself all intact.
Okay.
So they didn't go back and they didn't go and just redo the story arc or anything like that. Now that comes with some pluses and minuses, right? I mean, this is a game that's that came out way back when, in the early 2000s, or the mid 2000s. So you've got pacing issues. You've got some AI issues.
Yeah.
You know, so
I remember those.
yeah, you've got issues that they've panned out and they've fixed over time, but they didn't go back in and fix those, which I'm actually okay with, because then you still get the same experience on the game. I know some people are upset with some of the, artificial intelligence issues and, kind of the pacing issues of the game, but I'm okay with it. I mean, I thought that game was great when it released originally, and now I get to play it again, but this time I get to play it with graphics that are on par with Call of Duty games coming out for, the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Right.
So that's really cool, and that's really exciting. I have already played the game because I got it for the PS4.
Okay.
And I love it.
You love it?
It's awesome. It's great. The multiplayer is, again, I'm not a big multiplayer fan, but I went and checked the multiplayer out, and okay, I can see where people have some issues with that, but the campaign is great.
I'll say this though, when it comes to Call of Duty games, and I feel like this is probably like the popular opinion about it, is when you first get the game, most people, in my experience, at least among my friends and stuff, you go straight for multiplayer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you think of campaign as like a secondary thing.
Right.
When you think of Call of Duty games, you think of the online aspect
Right.
from it.
Right.
So you would like saying that the campaign is great and all, but the multiplayer is kind of lackluster. That's surprising because
Right.
you think that most of their replay value is coming from the
From the
multiplayers
multiplayer.
that come
Yeah.
back and they're like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
let me relive this, let me invite
Right.
all my friends over, we can restart our clan or whatever, you
Right,
know?
right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, but for me, like a classic gamer like myself, having a really solid campaign is always a major plus for me.
yeah.
Because like I said, I'm not a huge multiplayer fan. I never have been. I think the game that I maybe played the most multiplayer was probably maybe Gears of War.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
think that was the one game that I played multiplayer quite a bit.
Well, you know what's weird is now
Halo.
there's some first-person shooters now, like, there's a bunch, like Overwatch even, where there's not really even like a campaign. It's
right.
just all basically multiplayer.
Right.
So,
Right,
yeah.
for sure. But no, this looks great. I've played it for the PlayStation 4, and I can tell you the campaign mode, the graphics look fantastic. If you're a huge fan of Modern Warfare, then I would totally drop a little bit of cash and pick this game up for the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One now that it's released.
Very cool.
It's a great game. It really, I mean, before this, Call of Duty was all World War II, right?
Right.
And then when Modern Warfare hit, it brought Call of Duty to the modern age, and it was lights out awesome. That whole trilogy of Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3 was my favorite Call of Duties outside of maybe, Call of Duty 2 or even
Do you
Call
like
of Duty
World
3.
at War and stuff?
World of War I wasn't a big fan of.
No.
Call of Duty 2 and 3 I was a huge fan of. I was never a big fan of Black Ops either.
See, Black Ops was cool because I liked the zombie modes in it.
Yeah. I mean, I had a ton of friends that
Yeah.
loved Black Ops. I don't know why. I could just never get into Black Ops.
Yeah.
I mean, Modern Warfare, that was my jam, man. That one and Call of Duty 2. Those were the two Call of Duty games. I've tried to play the newer ones, and I don't know. Ghost was good. I did like
Right.
Ghost.
Did you like, what is it, Infinite Warfare? or
No,
whatever?
Infinite
Yeah.
Warfare was okay. I mean,
Advanced Warfare was
yeah,
in it.
and it was okay. I mean, those were okay, but I don't know. To me, they just don't reach the level of, like, say, Modern Warfare.
Well, are you going to buy the new one when it comes out? Because they're going back to World War II or whatever.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
I will do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will do that because I'm just a huge fan of,
Right.
I hate to say that. It's a terrible thing to say. It's a really awful and terrible event. But, the films that are out there, the games that are out there that cover World War II are just, the stories that are there are just epic and amazing. They're tough to watch and they're tough to see. I remember playing Call of Duty 2, and then remember Medal of Honor came out back right after Saving Private Ryan. And
The
then
D-Day
the
scene in
D-Day
that.
invasion that you
Yeah.
had in that game was just intense.
I know.
man.
I remember going back, and even though I got like way further in the game, I would still go back and play that one
Right.
just to see the different areas that you could
Right.
run through and stuff.
Right,
You know?
right, and then Call of Duty 2, where you were just you were pushing in on the European campaign. It was just incredible.
Right.
It was really great. And then I remember just trying to play through that game on hardened mode and just trying to beat it. It was the best experience, but it was the worst experience because I remember being stuck in a certain place where I was stuck behind like a wall, like a half down broken wall, and I couldn't stand up because as soon as I tried to stand up to run, I would get shot by a sniper.
There's just someone just sitting there waiting for you to poke your head out.
And it was just like every time I respawned at this one place, and I just could never get out of there. If I tried to crawl, at some point you can't just crawl across the street because it's in open air. So at some point you had to get up and run, and every time it was just I had to run. And finally I just started throwing grenades over the wall just to take off with smoke grenades.
Throw a smoke grenade and run
and then just
for your
run.
dear life.
Right,
Exactly.
Right. So I mean Call of Duty 2 did that. Modern Warfare was just and the scene in Modern Warfare where the atomic bomb goes off was just so intense. I remember, the first time playing through that game when it released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 was just like, wow, this is incredible. This is crazy. That was one of the first experiences in a game where I felt, man, we are getting, as a filmmaker, we're getting really close to marrying the idea of filmmaking and with the video games, which Naughty Dog totally knocked out of the park with, Uncharted and The Last of Us and so on and so forth. And I think Call of Duty Modern Warfare was that first game that just kind of like, of the war variety, that really kind of pushed that. So like I said, I've played it for the PlayStation 4. I totally recommend people get it for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One.
Look at how excited he is.
I am. I'm jacked up. We're going to have to stop recording now so I can go play on the PlayStation 4.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we're going to get into this week's game news.
Right.
And it's kind of a letdown for this
It is a
thing.
massive letdown.
It is a big letdown. So Nintendo Switch wanted to do this idea where they integrated an app for the console, where it's going to be the Nintendo Switch app.
Right.
So far, they released it, and so far only one game is compatible with it, which is Splatoon 2.
Right. Which is a cool game.
It's a cool game.
Yeah.
And that's a good game to start with and everything.
Right.
But the features that it has for it seem like something they could have just integrated into the console, or just not at all. You could just do a thing over the phone, or you could message your friend on Facebook or something like that, because half of it just seems like a communication tool.
Right.
To where you're just sitting there and it's you can schedule games or whatever on it, or you can communicate with other friends and stuff that are using it, voice chat and stuff.
Yeah, you can get some in-game stats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could, the other thing is that you could, they have a gear online store for it where you can get special content and stuff.
See, that's cool. But again, why is this not on the console?
Right. Why do you have to use your phone for this?
Right.
Yeah. What if it's a little kid that doesn't have a phone?
Yeah, we were talking about the idea of, because if you want to play the game and hear it on your headset, but then also talk to your friends on the phone, you have to get a splitter.
Yeah.
That has one link going to your phone, one headphone jack going to your console, and then it splits to your headphones. So you have to have your console and your phone, and the phone has to be on. Mm-hmm. So the app has to be active and the phone has to be on. So it's going to drain your battery like crazy. So again, it's like, why is this not in the console? It's totally, if this was in the console, you plug it in, you've got your headset, you're voice chatting, maybe you do some swipe menus and you come in and, or you just press pause and go to the menu system and you can access it there. I don't understand why we have to tether another device. I thought everybody had already figured out, okay,
we can integrate this.
Tethering devices is not the best way to do things.
You learn from the Sega Genesis or whatever, where you have to hook three things
Sega
to it.
CD or the 32X, right?
Yeah.
Right. Why are we tethering devices together? This is crazy. This is not right.
Oh, that's the thing too. Just as a joke, watch it. And it's gonna be by Christmas time, Nintendo announces new Nintendo phone that works with your.
Right. Which again, why are we not just integrating this into, let's integrate it into the actual Switch itself. So now. The one thing that I will say that the full online launches in 2018.
Right.
So we do know that. We do know that the full online experience will launch in 2018. What is that going to be like? I don't know. If it's like this, man, I'm worried.
And a lot of people were already saying that a lot of it sounds really disappointing with the online stuff. So it's just like Nintendo didn't learn from their last console that they need to make it more easy, you know, to do and compatible with everything else.
Right, and it's not like there's not examples out there for you.
Exactly.
I mean, Sony and Microsoft both have solid platforms. I mean, there's plus and minuses about both. I mean, I think Xbox Live as a whole is, I think, a little bit better.
Yeah.
Although PlayStation Network is no slouch. I mean, it's really solid and it's great. So there are two great examples there for Nintendo to totally utilize and add to the Nintendo Switch. I think if they would have added that into the console, I think it would have just been an absolute, you know, massive hit.
Well, that's the thing. It's already got the momentum going for it right now. It's like one of the fastest selling consoles right now, and everything else. Everyone's trying to get one, and they keep announcing like banger titles for these, you know, that are coming out and stuff. And you know, it's like, why didn't you think this far ahead? You know, I mean, I know it's great that you're focusing like on the video game content again and stuff, but you can't just sit there and neglect everything else. You have to be well-rounded about it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's cool. You can have the app. You know, you can have the app on the phone, but don't make the app a requirement for online play. I mean, if you want online play, build in the system into the system itself. You know, so that way people can quickly access, hey, you know what, I want to connect with somebody. You know, just like on PlayStation or the Xbox, I mean, you hit a button and you can connect very quickly with your friends as soon as you see that they're online. So yeah, that boggles my mind, and I think Nintendo's totally missing the mark here. That, again, there may be some, you know, major grand scheme in 2018 when the online app, the full online app releases, but I still think they could have totally built this into the console itself.
You know what's something cool that I thought that they could do with it was if it was kind of like a cloud system with the app, where you could put the games on there. So if you go to a friend's house, you can just load it up from there or whatever. Yeah, that would be a great idea for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, and then you don't have to carry around your console, your little disc, anything. You don't have to load anything up. It's just, all right, let's play, guys. You know?
Yeah, I mean, they've got. I mean, Nintendo owns the mobile market. I mean, let's not mince any words here. They own the mobile market, and especially now with the Nintendo Switch. I mean, they own the mobile market for video games. So it would only make sense that you've got, you know, an online system ready to go with your mobile device that you can connect and play with friends, and then, you know, get your headphones set. And yeah, I don't know, it just kind of boggles the mind that this was not like on the very first things of the list of things to do when you're creating the console.
Well, guys, we're gonna wrap up this episode of Now Loading. I'm your host, Alex Thompson, and this is Johnathan Paul. But also, don't forget to go to our YouTube page and subscribe and like our videos, leave comments, do whatever you want. If you want to give us a suggestion for a retro game or something, let us know, please. Also, go to PopNerdTV.com for articles, reviews, all kinds of stuff, information, goodness. It's great.
Go to our Patreon as well. We need support there. There's a lot of great content there that is behind the scenes stuff. And we've got new content coming. So be sure and check out Patreon, and then also check out our store.
PopNerdTV.store. If you want a Now Loading shirt,
they're
on there now. Yeah. Shout out to Jackie.
Yeah. Way to go.
And hats.
And hats.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this episode up. We will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
We're gonna go do our retro rewind for this week, where we go all the way back to August 5th, 1995. I was only 4 years old.
Were you really?
I was only 4 years old at this time, but I remember playing this game.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember playing this game, maybe not in 1995, but I remember a little bit later.
I was working.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was working.